You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Time now to talk about some issues that are of national concern. Now, this morning, the UTAG, that is University Teachers Association of Ghana, have stated that they are going to embark on a strike. Such an unfortunate situation. What a way to, begin 2022. And this is over issues that are no longer strange to us, their conditions of service. There's been a back and forth over this, and now they are really baring their teeth to us by beginning a strike. So they are withdrawing all services, teaching, invigilation, marking of exam scripts, everything they are supposed to be doing, and they are calling on the government to do the needful. I think this has been on and off, so there are issues like this. They sit down, but according to them, whatever recommendations never see the light of day. And this time around, they are showing they are very serious about this by embarking on an indefinite action.
There's actually a communique from the National Secretariat of UTAG, and the communique, I'll just read some portions of it for you. We refer to a communique dated 11th November 2021 and 24th December 2021 with reference numbers. It gives the reference numbers there. At its emergency meetings held on Tuesday and Friday, 4th and 7th of January respectively, and 2022 respectively, the National Executive Committee NEC of the UTAG discussed the worsening conditions of service of the university teacher, and the failure of the employer in addressing the plight of UTAG members within the agreed timeline. So this is the subject of conversation, the worsening conditions of service of the university teacher, as well as the UTAG members, and the fact that the employer was not addressing their plight within the timelines that they've discussed, and agreed upon. And for me, this is a very serious issue, that you sit with the people at table, you promise them that by this time, look, if you don't have the means, why promise them? Do you see? It's not, you've not, it's like, how we say, let's respect ourselves. Right? I mean, you've called the people to come and sit down. You've agreed with them, knowing that you will not have the capacity to deal.
Most of the time, communication is the issue. So, for instance, when you have recommendations of the labor market survey all the way in 2019, that has not been implemented. And nothing substantially is being communicated to these people. It's like they are waiting to see all these recommendations implemented. They are not being done. What has been the communication to them? Have you sat down? Have you engaged them to know that, okay, so these are the challenges. Let's see how we can roll out this implementation over which period, what is going to happen. So in case of this, what is going to happen, And I think that, this is not the first time you're hearing of these issues. How do we move on from here, And at the end of the day, we shouldn't also forget that we are coming from a very difficult background with COVID and all. Schools were shut down and all that. So already the academic calendar, has been altered in not a favorable way. So if teachers are also going to go on strike, then what happens? We are just kind of toying with the lives of the young people, with students, what is going to happen? People are in their final years. People are,
is just a terrible
first years, and sometimes you don't even know what is going to happen to your education. And I think that we really need to find a lasting solution to this.
As far back as the late 90s, all of this was still happening, and so we go all the way, 20 years later, we're still talking about these issues. We have a report for you. Some students at KNUST being stranded, after arriving in school, and UTAG says, hey, we are on strike. Let's take a look. Our colleague Hafiz Tijani has a report for us.
For students who are reporting to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology to begin their academic journey, the feeling of gaining admission into such an institution is great. Although they are yet to settle after going through all the necessary registration and orientation exercises, the strike declared by UTAG has rather dampened their enthusiasm on campus.
Well, right now I can't really know, but I don't really feel good about it. Neither will I say I feel too bad about it, because we just sort of arrived, and then we don't really know much. We're now going to go through some orientations and stuff, so we won't really be able to tell its effects. But I'll just say we don't really feel too good about it, because like you just come to school and you just faced with a strike. It's not really the best option or a good feeling at all.
For freshers like us, and we have this sad experience now. They bust my mind. It means we have to like study on our own. That's what it means. So like we are pleading with the government to hear the cries of the lecturers so that they will like come back to lectures.
It's a very sad news to hear that on Monday our teachers were going on strike, our lecturers were going on strike. It's a very sad thing because our spirit that we came to the school with has been brought down. We don't know when the strike will be over. We'll go through some kind of pain, but God, we are hoping that the government should look forward to hear them and solve the problem quickly for us.
Many first-year students arriving on campus are not aware of the news of the strike by members of UTAG. For those who are in the known, they hope the strike does not continue for long to affect academic activities.
We can't cope. We can't. We can't. It means you have to go home. That's the best solution. Because staying here, it's not easy. It's not easy. The best thing for us to do, if it prolongs, the best thing for us to do is you have to go home. That's the only choice you have.
I hope that maybe, since it's indefinite, that means it can actually end any time, as long as they come to a concession and agreement with the teachers or something. So as long as they come to that agreement, it can end any time. So I'm just hoping it ends as soon as possible. Also not to really disrupt our studies or anything like that.
When I had a strike, I was a little bit sad. And it's like I was very downhearted because just coming to the school on the first week to see what is going on, and this has occurred. I felt a little bit sadness within me. That's what I felt. Yes, please.
Honestly, the prolongments, I don't think it's going to be prolonged. It's not going to be that long because we look at history and looking at everything that's happened in the past, I don't think they can choose to just decide to not come to class and teach us, because if they do that, it will affect the school itself and the reputation of the school. I'm not sure the school would want something like that.
Management of KNUST says arrangements have been made to receive freshmen reporting on campus.
The university has made arrangements. The arrangements for the receiving of freshmen or fresh students still remains. Students have started arriving first years have started arriving on campus. The university is expecting continuing students from the 15th.
According to UTAG, the strike is in response to the worsening conditions of service of university teachers and the government's failure to meet agreed timelines to address their concerns. In an interview with City News, the National Secretary of UTAG, Dr. Asari Asante-Ano, said in the interim, the government should, as a matter of urgency, restore their members to the 2013 interim market premium of 114% of basic salary.
In August, we had to call off the strike action in order for us to sit down with government, and we were given a 1-month period to negotiate. Unfortunately, nothing was really achieved, and so we were about to embark on another strike in October. Government sat us down, and then we talked, and some small success was achieved in terms of certain conditions of service that we were requesting. We call it the non-payroll allowance. But the main issue was still at stake. And so government said with the basic salary, which also affects our pension, it cannot talk about it, but they are working on a document which will address that issue. So we should be patient. And actually, our members are even saying that this is more like a dragging feet from the government, just not to pay what is due to the university teachers. And they believe that it cannot be accepted. And so the only language they believe government can understand is the strike action that we are embarking on Monday. Before the interim market premium was frozen, there was one that was working. So we are asking government to restore us to the interim market premium, 114% of the basic salary, and he can go ahead to do whatever he wants to do with the market premium. And whenever everything is finished, and then they have implement an appropriate percentage for the university lecturer, then they will roll us back to the one that they have finished. This has gone on for a very long time, and when there is a delay, the conditions of service keeps on worsening. And when you have a family that you have to take care of, or if you are paying rent, or you are even commuting to work and you have to pay transport, those people are not going to have mercy on you because government is working to get you something. If it keeps on delaying and dragging, already the situation on our campus is not good. And also, the academic calendar, if you remember, COVID and all of that has brought a lot of disruption. Yeah. So we are calling on government to really immediately look at these concerns and address them.
For the National Union of Ghana Students, KNUST, UTAG has demonstrated utmost good faith in negotiating with the government on matters relating to its condition of service. National President of KNUST, Yadom Bwachi, says it is high time the government met the demands of UTAG.
We still feel that in as much as we are recovering from the consequences of COVID-19, the government should at a point show some level of seriousness in settling the issues with UTAG. Yeah, because we called on them to go back to negotiations. We called on them to return back to classroom and see to it that learning and teaching continues, which they had to it. They had to Accra, they did that. But returning to negotiations, coming up with, when we read their release, we realized most of their concerns that they raised about 6 months ago, that was in August, have still not been addressed, have still not been adhered to. And on this note, we have to UTAG, but I call government and all institutions that do matter to, as a matter of urgency, take this issue of UTAG, their salaries, their allowances very serious and act on it as soon as possible.
Academic activities will be hit hard if the strike prolongs.
All right, so there you have it. It's a dire situation, and it's something that the government needs to act and act swiftly. I'm not sure why we even have to call on government to act at this point in time, because they've sat down at the table with these members of UTAG and promised them that they were going to.
David, I honestly, as a Ghanaian, have issues with the way we handle education in this country. Yeah. Because everything boils down to education. Yeah. But it looks like areas where we need to show concern and we need to give so much premium to are the very places that we seem not to pay too much attention to, i.e. education and health. Yeah. You get it. But these are places that all the time we have to have industry players threaten strike actions before things are done. The ad hoc way of addressing some of these issues is psychologically troubling, Yeah. So you come to school, you go through your registration and stuff, and then you are told that teachers are on strike. And for UTAG to say that this is what we are doing at this moment, it means communication hasn't gone through. It means one party is not really doing what they have to do. Yeah. I'm not holding brief for UTAG, but I also believe that, well, this is their job. They also need that growth. You heard what the secretary said earlier, that we have families, we have this. They wanted to go on strike in October. Government came in, they sat down, promises were made, they withdrew, and they went to the classrooms. What has happened afterwards? It looks like when there are threats, then we come in to do something, and we do these things on very short basis, on piecemeal basis, and then nothing really seemed to happen. But we can't be going on like that, as a nation. And I think that it's not fair on students, to not to even know what is going to happen to them. They don't know their fate. You come to school, you could be met with anything. it is seriously not the best, especially recovering from COVID and every challenge that nature kind of put on our educational system and all. And then the things that we can do as people, as leaders and all, we are also not doing our part of the deal.
I'm just wondering whether maybe it's not time for us to have a conversation about, maybe a proper privatization of education in that sense. Not necessarily at every level, but let's say at university level. Because it looks like government is challenged in terms of the wages and the emoluments that they are having to make out to the University Teachers Association. So if they generated their own money, they could sort themselves out.
But I think the universities some way, somehow generate their own income.
So the dependency on government is what where my issue comes.
But you see, that is where I also have a problem.
Okay.
Because we can't also privatize everything.
No, we can't. But I think that if government has shown, look, listen, my first experience of strike was in '95. That's how far back this for me this goes.
Now, when I went to the university, I faced the same thing.
Look
this
at that.
was like 2002, 2003.
So
we have to also go home.
Yeah. So if it's this repetitive, okay, and it keeps showing up again and again, it's very obvious that government is not on top of its game.
But why is government not on top? You see, that is the question.
Money no day.
Why is there no money? So it comes to prioritizing what we think is important to us.
But the pot is limited, right?
Listen, if we say that they should generate their own funds, through and through without any government,
then education becomes expensive.
Extremely. Yeah. How many people can afford this? Is this not why we are now going back to free SHS? Because a lot of people cannot afford it. This is why government has to make some concessions and have to come and subsidize and do all these kind of things. So if what we only have to do when we have such issues is to throw our hands in the air and say that, okay, so let the people find their own way, let them generate their own funds, let them do this, let them do that. Why is the government sitting down? And people just cannot, afford to go to private universities, because that is the reality.
Especially now that free SHS has come into play.
Look at the numbers that are coming. It's
going to make this situation that we are having now with UTAG much, much worse in the coming years.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, government is really going to have to, figure out
I think that everything is about communication. Be straight up with the people. This is what we can do. Don't just promise them simply because you want them to call off their strike, or you just need them to go back to the classrooms, and knowing very well that in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, we still cannot do what you are asking us. I think that these are, intellectual conversations. These are the university teachers. What are the real issues? What can you do with what they are asking for? What can you not do? But if you promise them that, yes, give us a bit of time, you are going to do these things for you, they wait and these things do not come, you have not exercised good faith. You understand? And so they will have every right to hold you to ransom, like it is happening now. Well, so we will go over to Kumasi again, to the KNUST campus, and just have a feel of what campus looks like this morning. Our chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Okomafo, is on campus, and he joins us now. Thank you very much, Eddie, for joining us on Breakfast Daily. Edward?
Yeah, hello.
Right, thank you very much for joining us on Breakfast Daily. Please paint a picture of how the campus KNUST looks like this morning.
Yeah, so from here at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the students, particularly the freshmen, have started arriving. They reopened on the 8th of this month, that's Saturday, and those who gained admission are still coming here one after the other. And the university is making some kind of arrangement where those arriving are supposed to just come to certain points. So where we are at the moment is the Royal Parade Grounds, and there's a convergent point. Vehicles come in here. So once the vehicles come in here, the students will drop and then they go to their various halls. So that's basically the arrangement. The university is also saying that they're putting some COVID-19 protocols in place to ensure that all students who come here are safe when it comes to adhering to the protocols.
Eddie, so these freshers are the first, but I'm not too sure of the free SHS graduates. Am I right?
Yes, they are the first batch.
Okay.
They are actually the first batch, and they are supposed to start arriving. In fact, they started arriving on Saturday. Okay. But for the continuing students at the second years to final years and the postgraduate programs, they are expected to arrive. That's next week. Okay. That's on next week. That's 16th. And so that's basically the situation. But they have been hit with this news that the UTAG members are embarking on strike. And so some of them that we have been speaking to have been telling us that, well, they actually don't know what to really do. And one interesting point too is that there are some continuing students who are also around here. Okay. And particularly the final year students. I spoke to one lady not long ago, and she was telling me that it looks that there have been a number of disruptions in the academic calendar. She is in final year, and she tells me that in her first year, there was this demonstration in 2018 that affected the whole process. They had to go home. At a point in 2020, there was this COVID. Later, UTAG went on strike. So she feels that all these issues have to really be looked at because I feel they are not getting the best here. But let's try and get to some of the students who are here at the moment, just to get to feel what is going through their minds as we speak. A number of them are here. They've gathered at the Royal Parade Ground. Some are sitting in groups, just trying to have some kind of discussions with their groups. So let me try and engage in some of them.
Right.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to City TV.
Thank you.
What's your name?
I'm Pearl.
Pearl. All right, Pearl, so which year are you?
I'm in 5th year.
You are in your?
Level 500.
What program?
Pharmacy.
Okay, so pharmacy.
Yes.
That's Doctor of Pharmacy.
Yes, please.
Right. And so it means you really understand these issues very well. And looking at what is going on, as a student, what do you think about it?
It will affect academic activities. So that means we will not be able to have contact with our lectures, and our learning will be in a haphazard manner. So it's not a good thing.
But I know since you are in 5th year, means there have been a number of disruptions that have actually affected your academics. Yes. And when some of these things happen, what goes through your mind? And looking at that, you juxtapose that with what is happening. What's really going on in your mind as a student?
Right now, it brings a lot of uncertainty because you are not really sure when lectures will start and how long it can make the academic calendar. So, yes, it brings a lot of uncertainty and anxiety to students.
And so, you personally, what do you want to be done as a student?
I just want the issues to be solved so that we can have our academic calendar go smoothly.
But you are in 5th year. So far, the lecturers are declaring the strike. Has it really affected you in any way? Were you supposed to have some kind of engagements with your lecturers?
Well, school is yet to reopen, so you are not really doing anything right now. But if the strike prolongs to the time you are supposed to start lectures, then it will disrupt our academic calendar.
Right. Okay. Now, let me get to another person. What's your name?
I'm Juliet.
Okay. Which year are you?
Final year.
Final year. What program are you offering?
Hospitality and Tourism Management.
Great. Tell us what's going on in your mind as well.
Oh, okay. So currently, we are all not really surprised as to the strike that is ongoing, but we are still confused because most of us are in a hurry to go home from school, and this is what is happening. So it means our graduation will be like the first congregational graduation that happened. That was during the demo period. Yes, but since we've been to school, we've had three disruptions: demo, COVID, strike, and now strike again. So it's always leaving us in a hangover as to how the government is expecting us to complete our 4-year program.
And so you feel that once these things continue, it will actually affect your studies?
It always does affect our studies. Because when we went home for the demo break that happened, most people found it difficult to learn at home, obviously. Yes. So during the examination, I think it's drained some people, especially with regard to their CWA. Yeah. So right now, we've not even started anything yet, and this is what is happening. So we are all thinking, do they want us to finish school, or they just brought us here to waste our time or something?
Right. Let me get to you as well. What's your name?
I'm Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, what year are you?
5th year pharmacy.
Great. I'm sure there are a lot of things running through your mind. Let us know that.
Okay, so it's very unfortunate that we are hearing there's going to be another strike, or probably it
has in fact started.
Yes, exactly. So some of the disadvantages, I mean, last semester and last academic year, for instance, the academic year had to be prolonged. Yes, and it's ate into our vacation period, so our vacation was shortened, and it was very stressful. It made the academic semester very stressful. Yes, because you had to spend more time in school and all. We were anticipating to go home early, and then unfortunately it happened. So yeah, that is one. And then especially for final years, they're working on their projects and all. It also affects them very much. Yes, so it's very, very unfortunate that this is happening, but we are hoping that things will be resolved soon.
Edward,
you see, not long ago, UTAG members embarked on a strike. Yeah. Yes, but do you really know the actual issues that they are telling government to address for them? As students, do you really understand them?
Well, not really, but I just know it's about their salary. Yes, but I don't know the details of it. Yes, please.
All right. But have you had some engagements with your lecturers, even within the period that they just declared it? Have they been talking to you, your lecturers?
No, we've not heard anything from them yet.
Right. Let me get to a young man who is also here.
Edward.
Edward. She does not know the issues.
Edward.
Do you know the issues? Yeah, hello.
Yeah. I want you to ask him, whatever you're going to ask him, go ahead and do that. But I wanted to ask him also, what about his parents and the issue of cost, the expense of, the more prolonged the strike is, the more expensive it is for wards, guardians, and parents, to maintain them in school. So ask him about that as well.
Right. So the very first question I was asking you has to do with, do you really understand the issues?
As my friend said, I don't really understand the details of it, but I know it's about their salary and then some promises the government made to them that he was going to solve the issues with them after their first strike.
And after UTAG declared the strike, have you had engagement with your family?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yes, but normally a cost factor comes in. Sure. Looking at it, what are you likely to lose? What are kind of things in case it prolongs? You have experienced it. Which year are you?
Third year.
So it means you have experienced it. Yes. So when it happened, how was it like for you? And what are you anticipating?
Okay, when it happened, most of us, we were really stressed financially because the money we had budgeted for the semester, we had to, make us again to ask our parents to, give us money. And they were not also prepared for it. So it's kind of brought us down financially. And in our learning too, we were not too sure about how things were going to go. So we didn't know where to turn to in terms of our studies. So we were kind of delayed. Yeah.
But has there been any official communication from the university?
I've not seen one yet.
All right. So David, let's basically the situation. So David and Freema, that's what is happening. Earlier, I had a conversation with the UTAG Vice President for KNUST, and he was telling me that later today, they will be having a meeting where they will really look at what the strike will really entail. And so they said teaching and other academic related activities, they are yet to determine where the things that will be classified under the other academic activities. And so they look at some of the services that they are going to withdraw here.
All right. Thank you very much, Edward. Thank you for a good update on what's happening on campus. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
David.
So, I mean, look, like I said, we've been through it several times. I've been through it. You've been through it. I'm not sure if there's any particular period, you know, of any particular 4-year period where some people didn't go through it. You know, and I think, look, it's high time we figured out a permanent solution to this.
But you know, as they were speaking, one thing that was running through my mind was, how are we preparing the future Ghanaian? You know, these are young people who are in school. This is what their country is presenting them. You get where I'm coming from? These are people, these are pharmacy students. They are in their 5th year. They are going to be attending to human beings. This is how we are preparing them psychologically, mentally, everything. Now, we shouldn't be surprised when people at this stage are thinking of, when I'm done with my course, I want to go somewhere. You know, and rightly so, because why would you want to put people through this? We are not thinking about what the effects on parents are. And I mean, sometimes you have no idea what parents go through to even get transportation fares for their wards to go to school.
As we're talking today, this is what I was going through my mind. Can you imagine? You've budgeted for the semester, and then now you're having to look for extra money from wherever it is that you're going to have to find it from to deal with.
Exactly, because whether you are going to stay in school or go back home is another cost. You know, and for me, the main thing is, at this stage of our lives, we are promoting love your nation, patriotism, think about Ghana and all this. But you know, what we fail to realize is most of the times, it also depends on what your nation puts in you. The kind of investment that your nation puts in you, you know. So you feel that you owe your nation something whilst you also go on. Is this how we want to groom our young people? And what do we expect them to give back to us when they are finally done with their courses? You know, so young people go through free SHS. We are told that this is the best grades in years that we've had and all that. Fantastic, beautiful. And then what? You know, they go to school and this is how they are, the first thing they are met, you know, so they are excited, I'm going to the university. They go and they are told that, yo, so lecturers are on strike. You either stay here or you go back home. Nobody is telling them anything. They are just sitting down. They don't know. I mean, it's an indefinite strike. When are they coming back? Do I go home? Do I stay? What do I even call my parents to tell them? Look, I think that government needs to really be on top of this. Whatever the issues are, they really need to sit, you know, with with UTAG and find a lasting solution to this.
And I also think that, I mean, the uncertainty for them on campus, it should be a decisive thing, you know, where you say, listen, we're closed, nobody should come to campus, go home.
Who should say that, you know?
No, but that has to be the university. You know, because they've done it before.
No, but don't also forget that now the university is saying that, look, we don't care. You understand? We are also doing what we think is best for us as a people. So we are not going to accord anybody any courtesies. You get where I'm coming from? That's why I'm saying that, look, this is a bigger issue. So the students are there. They don't know what is going to happen. The lecturers are also somewhere. We just can't be bothered. Government is also, I don't know, trying to deal with it. They should just be engaging, and there should be some kind of transparency. Look, let them know what we can do, what we cannot do, over what kind of period, you know.
I think that if you, by the time, you know, we have to have certain regulations that will allow or force the hand of the duty bearers to make sure that we don't have these kind of challenges again. So, for example, can you imagine if there was a law that said that if you become a minister of state, your children must by all means go through our education system.
Well, I'm just waiting to know which government will really endorse this.
Can you imagine that? We will never go on strike again.
Exactly, because most of the time
we will never go on strike again.
Innocent Ghanaians have their children go through this, whilst we have the people who should actually be bearing their brands not having their wars go through this. Quite unfortunate one there, you know.
All right. Anyway, Breakfast Day is going to take a short break, but we are going to go to University of Ghana after the break and find out what's going on UG campus as well in Legon. But a short break first of all. We'll be right back.
You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. We're still discussing the UTAG strike that has taken effect from today. Now, we earlier went to the Ashanti region. We were on the campus of KNUST and we spoke to Edward Opomafo on what a picture looks like on campus. Now, you heard the students, you know, talk about how demoralized they are, and you could actually feel that desperation in their voices, not knowing what to do. What is the situation on the campus of University of Ghana? My colleague Caleb Kuda is there. Hi, Caleb. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning, Fema.
Good morning. So,
you look sharp.
Very, very much so. You look like a lecturer yourself.
Thank you. You know, I'm back to my alma mater, so I'm looking the part.
Well, unfortunately, it's not too much on some pleasant conditions. But what is the situation like?
Exactly, Fema. So maybe I should start from your department. We drove past that side, and it was very quiet.
Unfortunately.
Very, very quiet. You know, usually there'll be some drumming and singing, but there was nothing like
and
that.
And ironically, when you get to the School of Performing Arts, they tell you that silence, lectures in progress.
Yeah, I know, right? We are drumming.
Yeah. But you need all the concentration for that activity, don't you?
Absolutely.
But currently, what you see behind me is the Jones Corte building. Is one of the major lecture theaters here.
Tinge.
There is nothing going on. In fact, yes, Tinge. In fact, academic activities will briskly start next week, Monday. But usually around this week, a lot of students will be registering for their courses, for their halls.
Yeah.
And I've seen some students at the account office in JQB. They've sat, you see them in queues and they're trying to access the office. The conversation on radio on campus this morning, Radio Universe, is all about the strike and also the accommodation crisis, because then school just reopened, and for freshmen who are frustrated trying to find accommodation and trying to navigate their way around all that, it's the strike is a major blow to them. And so for continuing students as well who are hoping to settle in for the start of academic activity, this has come as a blow to them. But if you speak to many of them, they tell you that the action of their lecturers is a necessary evil. They believe that government must listen to their lecturers and address their concerns. I have some of them with me, and I'll be engaging them real shortly to get their real take. So let's come. Yes, please join me. And there's another lady who I would ask to kindly join me, and then we can have the conversation. Take it from there. Fema.
Yes, Caleb.
Good. So I want to start the conversation with this gentleman and lady I have here.
Go
First
on.
of all, tell me your full name, what you do on campus, and your understanding of what is occasioning the strike.
My name is Akiola Aziz, a political science student reading political science and history, and a member of the University of Ghana Parliament, and an aspirant or hopeful for communications officer team.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
What about you?
My name is Daniela Henowamono, reading political science and study of religion.
Right. And what role do you play on campus in terms of student activism and all?
Oh, okay, so I'm a TESCON member, and also I am also part of the political science department team as well.
That's interesting. What's your understanding of the strike lecturers have embarked on?
Thank you, Khalid. What has actually ensued is about the labor market survey that was conducted somewhere around 2013, where there was supposed to be an increase of 114%, where the government, a new administration came in 2017, where actually the they have been resistant in 2019 for them to consider their work, their conditions of service. The lecturers had demanded for better conditions of service, which actually the government had refused, which some of us, the students, we had considered. That is really a failure on the part of government, because the labor survey market would have helped them to be able to determine the interim market premium, which is
good. So students have an understanding of why their teachers are on strike?
Yes, actually, majority of the students have an understanding.
Very well. So what's going to be the impact of this strike on you all students? You're in level 200.
Yes, please. Okay, so it's going to have a negative impact on our side, because most of them are not even aware that the teachers are on strike. And those who are aware, so it's actually like a big shock to them. Also, our financial status would actually drain, because we would be planning on coming to campus to study. But when they get here, most of them would be told that lecturers are on strike, which I think is not going to help us at all. It's going to affect our lectures and all those stuff.
Okay. What do you think about the strike itself?
Well, I think the government has to do its best to listen to our lecturers. And then I'm also thinking that the lecturers should also come back and teach us, because I know they really need this, but we also need them to come teach us. Or else we don't know what we are going to do.
Your lecturer said this seems to be the language government understands best. So when you suffer and you cry and government listens, it pays them, and then they come back. Until then, they are not coming.
But then how long would it take? Because I think last semester they went for like a 3-week strike. Government didn't do anything about it. So are they trying to say if they go on a strike and it's for like about 2 months, we'll still be on campus without lectures? I think they should actually listen to government. I'm sure government will bring something up for them to do, because it would really affect us on the negative side.
Okay, so I have a TA on standby as well. There are a bunch of them actually at the archaeology department. I'd like to speak to one of them to find out how the strike is impacting them. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Please tell me your full name. I can tell you are in the archaeology department. So
yeah, so I'm Regina Dumakum, and as you rightly said, I'm at the archaeology department. So.
Regina, you're a TA, right?
Yes.
So why are you at work today? Your lecturer is not in, I guess.
Well, apparently, I learned we are not lecturers. We are supporting staff. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah. So since we are not lecturers, UTAG is the one going on strike, and we are not part of UTAG. So we are workers, so we are supposed to come.
So how's your working day going to look like, and what's the conversation amongst you since the people you are supporting are on strike?
Well, I guess we'll be there till maybe some work comes up, and then we'll do it. Or maybe use the Wi-Fi for something. I don't know. I don't know what we are going to do.
Is there any assistance you can offer the students while your lecturers are on strike? Is this something you all are thinking about, or because they are on strike, then you are in solidarity with them?
Well, I will not say we are in solidarity, because, you know, some of the students, they need help. Like, especially the level 100s, they are new on campus, so they'll be asking for directions, then other stuff, and you don't want to be like lecturers are on strike, and so I would not offer my help. Definitely you would want to help. So yes, we are available. If they come and they ask us for help, why not? We will offer them our help. But lectures, we can organize lectures. So.
For many TAs, usually your aspiration is to become lecturers. When you look at the concerns of the lecturers and how it has been, the kind of response they are getting, does it inspire you to take up your dreams or aspirations seriously to become lecturers, or you think that you'll be better off diverting into industry or somewhere else, a different jurisdiction?
Okay, so personally, I don't think it will be better off diverting, because the main purpose of wanting to be a lecturer, to me personally, is to impact lives of the students, is to make a difference. So the fact that their salary is not really working out, or the fact that the government is having issues with them, or they are having a little challenge, doesn't mean I should divert. I still want to be in it. If they go for strike, I would also go for strike. I mean, that's it, right?
No, but when you look at the conditions of service for many lecturers, this is something that is attractive, because last time I checked, some lecturers are earning like 5,000. They have a class population size of about 1,200. They have researches, they have papers to publish, and all the workload that they have. And if you compare that to their colleagues in other industry and the number of years they have worked, does it look incentivizing?
It doesn't. It doesn't look incentivizing. But I mean, that's the work they signed up for, right? But then we are all praying there is something done about it. You get it? I mean, it's not nice teaching about 2,000 students and you're getting like 5,000, and you compare yourself to your colleague in other firm and they are taking more than you do. But that's what you signed up for. So what now we are just hoping for is an increment in their salary or something, an incentive, something to just keep them going. Other than that, that's what they signed up for. I don't know what I can.
Okay, so do you support the strike?
Personally, if I am in the shoes of students, I wouldn't support the strike. But if I am in the shoes of the lecturers too, why not? I support it. So I don't know.
You have one leg at both sides.
Exactly, because aside the fact that I am working with the lecturers at the department, I was once a student and I know how it feels like. Right. So yes, I wish they were not going on the strike, but at another point, I wish, Ali, they are on it.
Thank you for your very balanced thoughts. I really appreciate that.
So Caleb, so if you can get a freshman to talk to, because I would like to know how registration is even going, because you know sometimes you need your hall of residence to complete your entire registration. Now, some of these lecturers are the hall masters, you know, so if they are not at work today, I mean, how would even the registration itself go? Like, you know, so I'd really want to know about that. So if you find any fresher, please find out from them if they've been able to even go through their registration.
Very well, Frema. So actually, there is a parent and a freshman here.
Great.
I earlier tried to speak to them. They turned me down, my request down. But let me get closer and see if I can find some more freshmen, and we can pick their thoughts on that, because the issue about registration and accommodation has really been a huge headache for many parents and many freshmen. And so we would like to actually pick those thoughts. Ma'am, would you like to talk to me this time? We just want to pick your sentiments with regards to accommodation and all. It's still a no.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But let me get closer. Daddy, is that your son? Okay.
He says that.
All right. Are you a freshman though? Are you a freshman? You are not. Oh, okay. The freshmen, their confidence level has not come.
No, but it's understandable, you know, because you come with all the vim and vigor that I'm going to the university, you know, and how it feels like I'm going to Legon, you know, and then you get there and this is the situation. It dampens your spirit. I understand. Charlie, people will be crying and all. So if they don't want to talk, it's understandable. Especially when you get to your hall and you are told that your hall master is not available.
Yeah, no, it's a reality.
That's some way, isn't it?
And Caleb, when you were on campus, did you experience a strike?
Oh yes, I did. There were several of those.
I was making a point to Frema this morning that it looks like there's no 4-year period, you know, since whenever that there hasn't been a strike, you know, because almost everybody has experienced a strike at one point or the other. I mean, mine dates back to the 90s, you know.
Why are you smiling?
Yeah. All the way back to 95.
Seniors will come.
You know. But Caleb, you know, generally, how is campus like? You know, things should be slow. Do you find a lot of people there?
So the ambience on the campus is one of solitude. It's quiet. It's not as brisk as you would usually see it. I mean, if you are coming from the main entrance through the old gate towards where I am, it's generally quiet. I'm told it has been very busy in the past weeks, especially inside the halls where there has been a mad rush, scramble for beds and accommodation. So in terms of the accommodation side, it's been a serious challenge and people have tried to hustle their way through to get beds. But as a result of the impact of the strike, things are generally slow, but also because academic activity would have properly resumed next week. It's important we put in context that the strike is leaving impacts, ripples of it, but we cannot say that academic activity has come to a halt as a result of the strike because it hasn't started yet. But when you look at the archaeology department, for example, the TAs are all stranded. They are talking amongst themselves. There isn't anything to do. Some of the lecturers have come and they are in the library. They say they are not going to engage in teaching and learning yet. They are just doing their private thing. So resources are being used in the sense of Wi-Fi, library, but it's not for teaching and learning.
I get that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Caleb, thank you. Thank you
very
for
much,
bringing
Caleb.
us, a good picture of what's happening on campus and all of that. I mean, I really hope that we get to the bottom of this, and deal, and government really steps up to engage.
And you know how students are receiving this, and storing this is very, very necessary. You heard the second year political science lady who said that they went on strike. Government didn't do anything, so at least they should come back. So in their minds, government doesn't care. So now they are pleading with their lecturers that look, government isn't going to do anything.
Government is not going to do anything. So just come.
But this is wrong. That mentality alone is wrong. And I don't think that government really needs students to begin to think this way. That well, the government is not sensitive to our plight, and so we have to go begging our lecturers, because lecturers are also family men, So for instance, I don't think that people should have in mind that if I can afford it, I would not let my child, my ward, be in a public university or. All
right. Well, we have the president of the UTAG of University of Ghana. The University of Ghana chapter of UTAG, Dr. Samuel Nkumban, on the line with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother, and good morning to your listeners.
Yes. So kindly give us a quick overview over your reasons for the strike and what your hopes are as far as the timelines are concerned. Do you get a sense that government is going to react and respond soon or not?
Well, I must just simply say that UTAG is frustrated at how government is handling this matter. And of course, it is said that when the die is cast and all is done, the crossing of the Rubicon is just a matter of natural sequence. And so we've dragged on and gone back and forth to the point where we think that given the kind of conditions under which we work, we can no longer continue to be working in those same conditions. First, to say that our salary levels are unreasonably depreciated, and one of the reasons for which this has happened is because of the government white paper in 2013 that put a freeze to the interim market premium that public sector workers who were deserving of it were enjoying. For UTAG members, it was 114% of basic pay. And what it meant is that if it is a percentage of base pay, when there is an increase in base pay, it should affect that as well. Unfortunately, in 2013, government issued a white paper and put a freeze to it. So it became a constant figure. And so if you were to do a clear analysis of base pay today as against what was supposed to be 114% of base pay, you are now talking about an interim market premium that is less than 50% of base pay. And so this has occasioned the worsening conditions of service of members. And the reason for freezing it in 2013 was to conduct a labor market survey that determines a market premium. And that is why it was called an interim market premium. 2014, there was a labor market survey report. I think it ended up on the shelves in the ministry. It was never implemented. We go to the negotiations, and then it is still the need to conduct a labor market survey. That is the reason for which nothing is happening. What is the guarantee that the report that has been submitted is going to be implemented? Besides that, what we are saying is that even if this is going to be implemented, the process will take a long time. You are going to study this and make recommendations in terms of figures to government. Government will have to issue a white paper for implementation. So in the course of the year, we agreed that by close of December, if this was not going to happen, because you were receiving the report October ending, then restore us to the 114% of base pay, of current base pay, because 114% in 2013, which got frozen, today is now standing around less than 50%.
Right, doctor. So now, this is the situation. You are on strike. The students are stranded. What would it take for you to go back to work?
Well, of course, we haven't had any communication from government. Point is that we agreed that by 1st of December, if we are not getting a new market premium by virtue of your labor market survey, which you claim is what would improve our conditions, we are asking that restore us to the 2013 levels, salary levels, entry market premium levels, and that can at least cushion us in the interim whilst you process the market premium. And that has we have not had any official communication. It's becoming frustrating.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So we may have to end it, but quickly before you go, does this mean that if government starts communications, if governments open a new channel of engagement, you will go back to the classroom at least until negotiations are done?
What we have come to the point where we say that until we see in something concrete, by way of government putting some money in our pockets, we are not going back, because it's been the same goodwill of communication that has led us from last year until now.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Nkuban.
All right. So there we have it. Thank you very much for watching this segment of the show. Frima, look, something's got to give.
Well, they have spoken. I think we don't have anything else to say. Now they want to really see something tangible, not just talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Breakfast Today is going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. There's a lot more that's coming up.